Today we are debating whether the Philippines, after the Spanish-American War, should be annexed or let be. On this side we have Megan and Jack debating anti-imperialism, and on this side we have Bahar and Randy protesting supporting imperialism.
We should not, by any means, annex the Philippines. By doing so, we would be undergoing a gross miscarriage of justice and denying the freedoms to others that we allow ourselves to take. Recognizing history, we can see how great giants of empires, such as Rome and France and Napoleon, have fallen at the hands of, well, giant empires because they're too far expanded. Then the Philippines could also be a valuable ally to us in the Pacific Ocean. Philippines as an ally would allow trading for their goods, such as gold and silver and oil, as opposed to just taking them, because that's mean. And furthermore, a standing army would cost way too much money to keep in the Philippines. Totally lost. Alright. And to learn from history is to succeed. Our fleet, being stationed in the Atlantic Ocean, would have to travel around South America in order to reach the Pacific and the Philippines, which would leave us vulnerable to foreign attacks, either from Europe or anywhere else for that matter. And it would create rivals in Europe. For us, taking the Philippines would create rivals in Europe as, I don't know, because we'd be like encroaching on like European territory in the Pacific as well. Also, America is known as the land of freedom. And just as France has helped us win our independence back in the Revolutionary War, why shouldn't we do the same with the Philippines? Why should we take them over, as opposed to just let them have their freedom after we help them win it? This is France did. Also, securing the Philippines would be a waste of resources, as a war would cause too many American deaths and would endanger...
Annexation of the Philippines would be beneficial for the United States and the Philippines. The United States would be doing its moral duty by helping the Philippines govern themselves, something that they would be unfit for doing after being under the rule of Spain for so long. We would be preventing unnecessary chaos, anarchy, and rebellion, something that was the idea of our own President Theodore Roosevelt. He's pro-annexation of the Philippines. America should help weaker nations and spread the advance of civilization to help the world. Doing otherwise and allowing the Philippines to fall back into the hands of Spain would be dishonorable. The United States can also help to commercially develop the Philippines and to educate the population. We can introduce industry and new products, and we are best suited to do so and to aid them, being a powerful country for our relatively young age compared to European countries. Keeping the Philippines under the United States' wing allows us to introduce them into world affairs, which they would be otherwise left out of because they're such a small country. It's honorable for America to help the Philippines in all of this, and in addition, it would help us by expressing our own power. There are raw materials in the Philippines that have not been put to use, and we could do that. And if we didn't take advantage of that, we would be looked down upon as weaklings by stronger countries in Europe who would take advantage of that and use that to become more powerful. The Philippines are also a key military position and somewhere where we could place a naval base. If we didn't do this quickly and if we delayed, then countries such as Germany, which are waiting... Are you all paying attention?
Annexing the Philippines is not only a horribly unjust thing to do to those people, you know, going in and taking everything from them. It's also very hypocritical because it goes against everything that we stated in the Declaration of Independence. A people governed by the people, by people's decisions and things like that is what we based our country on. And that's not going to look very good when we turn around and impose horrible things on other people. No questions. I lost my train of thought. Oh, that, yes. The Philippines would not make a very good naval base because, I mean, if you take half your navy and put it in the Philippines, I mean, not only is there barely anyone to attack over there, I mean, I guess you could go for, like, Japan or China, but they're not really, you know, as big a problem as, like, Europe because that's got, like, 50 different countries in it. and Japan's just Japan, and China's just China. And so they're not really a big naval worry right now, and that's taking away from people who could be like protecting our, the United States, like continental United States and stuff. And we already have Hawaii too, so not as big a deal. All right, and well, as they said in The Incredibles, the value of life is not weakness, and disregarding it is not a strength. And it's not cool to conquer other people. It's not good. And creating a naval base in the Philippines actually causes us to lose money because of the more expensive upkeep, because it's incredibly far away, and we don't have a very direct route to there because there's a lot of land in the way.
By annexing the Philippines, we would be only helping them. The expenses needed for maintaining an army and getting their economy started would be easily paid off through taxes and their own current economy. Instead of using them as an ally for their goods, it would be cheaper for us if we made them a part of us. We will need a fleet in the Pacific sooner or later, and seeing as how they're a very strategic position, it would be good to build it there. America is a land of freedom, like you have mentioned, and by bringing them into it, they would also become free, just like you and me.
Bahar and Randy, you guys spoke second, correct?
Yeah.
All right, the first question is to you. We'll go back and forth for 10 minutes.
Maybe.
Alrighty. So one thing that you guys mentioned is that the Philippines are too small to be involved in world affairs. First of all, a country such as Japan, as Megan mentioned, is a relatively similar size. And they are very heavily involved in world affairs. And also, they have many resources, many natural resources, such as oil, gold, silver, iron ore, copper, and lead. Are they, and those are great trading resources and great economic resources to have, and I'm sure the rest of the world would like to get a chunk of. So are you still suggesting that they would not be involved in trading or any other kind of economic?
Well, Japan is a really old country, and they have had time to build up an empire and to be ready enough to be involved in the world. If the United States guided the Philippines to that and helped them, then they could prepare them in the same way.
And also,
Why do they need the U.S. to help them?
That was the follow-up question.
well, the U.S. would help them because
Why do they need help?
Because they've been under Spain's rule for so long that they don't know yet how to govern themselves, and they could fall into a period of trial and error and rebellion, and and so we're trying to take that out so that they can be shaped for success.
Can't even be prepared to ask questions.
If we were to annex Philippines, would we also be obligated to give them the same rights as everyone else, according to the 15th Amendment?
Well, also according to the Constitution, you can't unlawfully govern people without their consent, so we're sort of throwing it out the window already, trying to annex the Philippines.
We're not trying to annex the Philippines.
Sorry, scratch that question. Wrong side.
The Incredibles haven't been made yet, so you can't use that.
I don't think that's a valid point.
That is a valid point since it's the 1900s and you're using a movie from the 2000s.
Robbie?
I have a good follow-up.
Okay, fine, it's just quote, it's not from The Incredibles. I heard it from my neighbor.
Let's go to Allie. You guys have a question.
You mentioned about how much money it would take to occupy the Philippines for us, and the people that had to occupy it, but can't the people in the Philippines now already occupy it after we annex them?
It's not really how colonization works. Plus, we'd have to go in to occupy it, and Spain owns it right now, so we'd have to, spend a whole bunch of money fighting Spain too. And wars are expensive.
You said that's not how colonization works. How does it work?
Well, with colonization, you can't just say, "Oh, we own you. We're just not going to be here." That's not very productive for trying to get people to work.
I'm saying, can't the people that are in the Philippines land area right now, help them occupy?
Well, when you take someone over, they generally don't want to work for you.
Who's there right now?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no one their own independence.
Now bounces to Randy and Bob.
Okay, so first off, would you consider America to be a successful country?
Yes, it is a very successful country.
Okay, so you said that they would not be shaped for success. We were trying to shape them for success by taking them over. But we started and became shaped by success by like revolting and having our own nation and like creating something for ourselves. Would they not be equally successful becoming like their own nation without us involved, like starting from the same roots?
They haven't been industrialized yet, so they don't have.
But they have the resources.
And you
to
don't know
industrialize.
anyway that that would happen. You don't know that
You don't
that's
know that it
going to
would
happen.
happen.
But you don't know that it would.
Argument from ignorance?
They're
Well,
both
if-
answering from ignorance.
I have a question to ask.
By bringing them into our country.
We're not bringing them into our country. You can't move the Philippines.
That's even from a
Not
literally.
They're 7,000 miles away from the West Coast.
By joining.
Open sea is the truth.
By joining with them.
They
as
don't want
a
to join. You're taking
state.
them over against their will.
Yes.
They've already been fighting for their independence.
With our help, otherwise they would have succeeded.
Okay.
They didn't
but we're
succeed.
putting them in the exact same position that Spain
They
is.
threw Spain off, that's succeeding.
Do we
We
want to
threw
be
It
Spain?
hasn't happened yet.
You're all talking out of turn.
So is the tripod.
I believe say it would be bad economically if we annex the Philippines, but we could use their resources, as you guys admitted they had many, and it would also be really close to China, so it would be easier to trade with China.
We already have Hawaii, more of like a trade port too.
True,
It's
but
more of like
the
halfway.
Philippines are closer to China.
We have, but they're further away from the United States.
So
Yeah,
from
but
the
it'd be
Philippines
easier to
to
trade
Hawaii
China.
to the US.
Right,
It's
sure,
just as
but
easy to trade with
it
China.
doesn't really
though.
matter because you don't need to refuel the ships between Hawaii and China either way. So it's just another resting point. And as far as the resources for the Philippines, when you take someone over and forcing them to work and give you things, they're not going to work nearly as hard as if they're independent, working and trading that thing and getting something in return for it.
Plus, if they're trading, they can trade with the rest of the world, and if we, like, take over, they're not going to be able to trade with the rest of the world, and the rest of the world is going to be sort of ticked off because, we sort of, like, took away this
So then they'll
opportunity for
take it
them to
over.
trade. Well, they already tried taking it over.
If they didn't, Spain was controlling it. That's one
Exactly.
country.
Right, but see now, as to what you're saying, if you're able to have access to these resources, they could very well try and invade the Philippines themselves, which involves another war for the United States.
Not necessarily,
If we
Why?
annex it, it would.
but you're saying we not annex
No, we don't. Yeah.
and then another country's gonna come in and take it. We're not there anymore.
That's also,
That's what it is.
if we just let them be, then another country's going to do that anyway.
We're not letting them be.
Well,
We're
you
trading
just-
with them.
We're making them
Trading is not a
ally.
military alliance.
I don't actually know very much about military alliances. So.
Point is, we wouldn't let
We
them
don't have
just-
soldiers there. As you said, it's far away from our country. Europe is closer. They move on to China, Japan, they're closer.
Well, then let them
Europe's
fight.
we
If
let-
we came out of the Spanish-American War, we can't just be...
Oh,
He's saying
so
that
give
if
it to the other.
we let them be,
No,
someone would
I'm
take them
saying-
over,
Hey,
but
you
weren't
said,
we
oh,
left
wow,
alone? We weren't taken over.
Yes, we can leave instead of a trading alliance
Not
with them.
really.
And if Europe wants to come and
I don't
take
like
them,
being the
that's fine.
tripod.
I mean, we're gonna fight back. But
Weren't we
How are
left
we gonna fight
alone?
We're
back?
not going to fight back because they're independent.
Yeah, thank you.
That would be us basically controlling them anyway.
I have a
protecting
question.
them.
Yeah.
It's our side now, isn't it?
All right, let them respond and then we'll bounce it.
We did
What?
this.
Yeah. Do I get to ask my question now? I feel like I was in line.
So you say that, as Bahar said, that they would be a young country, and that they wouldn't know how to govern themselves. But we are considered a young country because we're only, what, like 300 years old or
About
something?
100 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, like 100 years old at this point. So, and you said that like they don't have they would need to go through trial and error. Well, isn't that what kind of like democracy is? Like we tried it with like kings and queens and all that, and then we developed our own and it succeeded. So why don't how do you know that they wouldn't succeed in something new and become stronger and able to protect themselves within a little bit amount of time?
That makes sense. Because if they can't, you say they can't govern themselves and stuff, well, how are you ever gonna, we had to go through trial and error, and you say that every country needs that, and by taking them over, you'd eliminate that, but by letting them
Well, I
go through
didn't
trial
say
and
every
error.
country needs that, actually.
they don't have a chance to even build a government if we take them over and do it for them.
Be joining our government.
You could become military allies without taking over a country.
Yes.
Right, and we would be linked to their success.
Because
without
then you're not
being
a
the
jerk
country.
who takes people
They
over.
would be free.
Why would we
They would
take
be-
a country that we
Are
want
you,
to
do
do?
you consider yourself as a
Like
person free?
annexing Hawaii
Under this
is
government,
like
are you
it's
free?
part of the U.S.
So by annexing them, they would just be joining our government.
They
I
don't
don't
already
think
have
we
that
agree on
freedom.
our
They don't
America.
want part of
You're-
ours.
I don't
you're-
think they have
But
the
do you
same
have a standing
No.
army?
Your view
your city,
of our annexing
around
them
your house,
is misplaced.
forcing you
see
to follow
them
their-
as us conquering them, making them
Who
slaves.
says we're doing all
We
this
see
stuff?
them as taking them and joining them as a state of our country.
They're not a
But
state.
it's not how you see it, it's how they see it. They're the people, and they don't want to
They don't
want
wanna
to
be part of it.
I mean, it's all fine and dandy for you to say, we're letting you join, but they don't want to join.
But
It's much preferred that they join us. They prefer to join us than they were
Why?
under us.
But
Why would they
give
give
them
them is a chance to prove themselves as a strong government?
I mean, for them, us taking them over is sort of just like, oh, we're going from the hands of
That's
one
like
country
saying-
ruling us into another.
Yeah, we're gonna say, and then your justification of that is, if we don't take them over, somebody else will eventually. That's like saying, okay, that person's gonna die eventually, I might as well just shoot them now. Like, what's the difference between those two things?
well, going back to the
I like the
program
analogy.
of the Philippines, what Maddie said with they need time to. Well, the Philippines need time to realize that the United States is helping them. It's like a parent, like telling a child, like, this will help you in the long
That
run.
analogy-
But then you also
Yeah,
have to
give them
set
time,
parents
give them
free. You have
years
to
to
set them
decide if
free.
they actually want to.
We have the technology and the industry to help the Philippines, so we should. Another country, a stronger country, and a more brutal country will come and take them at this vulnerable stage that they're at. You wouldn't be just an ally with somebody if you don't get anything from it. So if we annex the Philippines, both of us get benefits from it. We're not trying to shoot the Philippines before they die. We're preventing them from having the chance to die.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. We are America. We are free. We are an idol to the oppressed of the world. Do not revoke others the revolution that we rose out of. Do not subject cruel horrors onto other human beings. Do not waste American resources and lives in unjustly overtaking another nation. Do not betray our history. The opponent says that they'd be in our freedom in sharing it. But in reality, we'd be denying their freedoms to them. Lincoln said that by denying others freedom, we do not deserve ourselves. They can become a power on their own. Their economy would develop on its own, much like ours did. The freedom of the Philippines is their own right, not ours to give. Let them preserve their independence that they have fought for. Taking over the Philippines would be no different than what Britain did to America when they took them over as colonies. And obviously we did not like that and did not want that. So just think about, how the oppressed people feel.
That is the end of our debate.